And another thing, I am a huge advocate for saying the obvious. And I'm going to state my case on this one. There are a lot of people out here like walking around trying to be know-it-alls to situations that they need themselves help in. If I am a party involved with helping you come across to a decision, right? Like, let's say you come to me for advice. Hey, Tev, what college should I go to? Let's just throw that as an example, right? I'm gonna be like, all right, well, what do you like? What colleges are you looking forward to? Like, what are you trying to study? How much? What are you trying to pay for in terms of college fees? Like, what are the things that you want? Like, so I can help you come towards a decision. You know, when it comes to two people trying to get a shared resolution, certain times givens have to be given so that we're all on the same playing field and that there's a consensus of thought. I am tired of you know-it-alls pretending as though the obvious can't be helpful if you didn't look at it in a particular way, right? You might say to me, like, okay, in that same example, right? We talk about colleges. Let's say we're best friends and I already know that you want to study tech, right? So me asking you, okay, what do you want to study? And then you're like probably duh, Tevin. Like tech is the obvious thing. You know this because you're my friend, and I constantly tell you this is what I want to study. Well, what if I said to you, um, well, one, the thing about picking college is that anybody could change their mind about a major. I can bet my dollar that there are a lot of people out here that started off college one way and ended off with another. So like it's a very flippant thing to decide what you're gonna focus on for the rest of your life. It's very college kind of tries to pigeonhole you into that thing. If you already know for a fact that you want to work in tech, then there's no decision that just sway your mind. But even asking the fact, oh, what do you want to study, is like, okay, are you sure that this is what you want to do, right? Because then we can lock down all the nice tech colleges, computer tech, um, computer science, all of that. And then let's like go through the options. Then we go through financials. We go through, all right, how much do you want to pay? I could know that you're broke, but like I don't know your aspirations. Why am I going to sit here and make assumptions off of the fact that, oh, because I know you so well, that there's certain things that are obvious that don't need to be discussed. Stop being a know it all because all of us are stupid. As smart as you may be, as smart as anyone can be, there are things that we sometimes forget about that can help us get to a decision that we're looking forward to. So stop being a know-it-all. It's stupid. You know what I'm saying? And at the worst case, if I do say something obvious that serves no purpose other than to state the obvious, then you being annoyed at the fact me stating the obvious shows a lack of patience, shows a lack of character. And it's like, dude, if there was nothing gained from it, why bastardize the person that's trying to go in a direction that is, helpful, at least on their end, or maybe they're trying to get there with you. Don't knock that. And I'm gonna start calling it out from my friends that will be like, oh yeah, this is obvious, da 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 da. It's like, all right, well, did this obvious truth have a point to it? Like were you using it to get to a established decision, an established idea that you hadn't considered? Like these are things that we have to consider as people. And so, yeah, I'm gonna be the one saying the obvious thing. Some people are gonna be like, "Oh, duh," like Tevin. Everybody knows that. But then there are gonna be people like, "Yo, Tev, I actually didn't know that." So I appreciate you for saying it. And another thing, an obvious thing when it comes to like the elephant in the room. Let's just say your friend is looking a fucking mess. Let's say your friend is outside, drunk, out of his mind or out of her mind, and you know like everyone sees it, but you stating the obvious across all parties, even though everyone can clearly see that this person is drunk, it calls to action, something to be done about this drunk friend of ours that's out here playing the fool. Don't assume just because that everyone can see it that everyone's gonna do something about it. you know Because there are a lot of people out here that would not do something about it, even though they know, you know? So that's my piece. Be a proponent of stating the fucking obvious. Be a proponent of stating the obvious if it helps people get to a solid consensus of truth and understanding and choice. If you are out here discarding the obvious because you're a know-it-all, because you feel as though, then you'll get to know another way. You may come across outcomes that you wouldn't have desired if you hadn't just considered what was obvious versus what wasn't to get to that truth. There's a million ways to get to the truth, and I just say the obvious is one of them. Food for thought.